it's good that they get an introductory, that they they don't come out like blind completely. But I think once they get on the streets, once they start getting a feel for being an officer and what they're going to be up against, to be able to choose to work with the mental health population, with those people who are in a mental health crisis, to be able to choose to take a 40-hour training so they know how to de-escalate, they know how to talk to people like me. I mean, I am someone in recovery, and I remember when I had a crisis, and and I had officers come to my house. I mean, it's scary. I mean, I have a child, and not only are they dealing with my crisis, but they're leaving a legacy for my child. And what does he see? What does he experience? Not only I mean, the sirens, the lights. That when I'm having an episode, they just confuse me. They make me scared. I run. I mean, things that aren't in my nature, and to have an officer yell while I'm in that state, I can't tell if it's the officer or if it's the voices in my head or if it's, I can't, and so to have an officer choose to work with me, and to be able to, call 911 and say, please send a CIT officer, someone with the gold lapel pin that's that has chosen to do that. I mean, I think it's great that they talk about having all officers CIT trained, which is a great fantasy, but in reality, I mean, you can train everybody, but not everybody wants to do it. So, I mean, just because you're trained in it doesn't mean that, I'm sorry, but if you're trained as an ER doctor, which is great and wonderful, you can work on anybody and do anything. But if you want to specialize in being a podiatrist, and so you're an ER doctor and you specialize as a podiatrist, and everybody in the ER now has to be trained as a podiatrist, not everybody wants that specialty, even though it's important, and it works better when you choose. And I just look back on that video, and I think, if that officer really thought that this gentleman was going to get hit by a car, I mean, he could have handled it a lot differently. There are different ways he could do. And when they took him down, I mean, they could have handled it a lot differently. And I think that's part of what the CIT training is. It's about the CIT Utah, doing the international training is about, taking them to a safe place, and dealing with them safely, and not just, stop and, I mean, when we run, it's not necessarily we're running because we did something horrible and bad and we're trying to get away. Sometimes it's the things going on in our head. Sometimes it's not something that everybody can relate to. And I think that in reality, I mean, we can't always get a hold of our providers. I mean, the county had a great program for a long time that now, like, you can't call, like, the biggest county mental health agency. You can't call them and talk to your provider. Like, I was running late. I knew I was going to be late. I call them. They put me on hold. I was on hold for 45 to 50 minutes. I showed up late to my appointment. I was still on hold when I pulled up to the clinic. I mean, I got there late before I could tell them I was going to be late. And it's just, I mean, if you can't get through to the people that you need to talk to, you know, and so you're calling crisis. These incidents, I think, you know, the mental health circuit and the law enforcement, I think we need to work together. You know, it's a huge problem. It really is. But I think, you know, doing the CIT training, you know, getting mental health providers on board with the police that want to do this work. I think if we can all get together and just say, you know, it's not about who's right, who's wrong, who's this, who's that. It's about keeping us safe. I mean, I don't want to be scared to call the police when I have an episode. And right now, I go to bed every night praying that I don't have an episode, because I don't want the police to come into my house and terrorize my son. And I don't want to have that traumatic effect on me. I mean, I don't remember everything that happens when they come, but I have snippets. And then my son will say to me, "Mom, it was bad." You know, and he shouldn't have to witness that. You know.
How old's your son?
He just turned 18. But, you know, this is something I've been dealing with for many years, and, you know, it's scary.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that. I know it's very personal for you. I do want to ask, because I don't want to ask you anything more than what we're really able to use. Off of what we talked about, is there anything that I didn't ask specific to this that you think you'd like to add?
I just think that everybody needs to get off the political bench and come down to the level of real lives. It's no longer a political thing. It really comes down to lives.
Thank you. I appreciate it.